Able to see the slides?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, welcome to our Bhakti Vaibhav class. Today we'll be discussing from chapter 11. Sväyambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop the fighting. So in the previous chapter, we discussed that hearing that his younger brother Uttama was killed by an Yaksha, Dhruva Maharaj goes to the Alakapuri, the abode of Yakshas. And then he begins to fight with the Yakshas. So there is to and fro. Dhruva is throwing arrows and they are throwing arrows. Dhruva defeating them. They are trying to create illusions to bewilder Dhruva, etc. etc. At the end, at one point of time, they appears to be defeated. They went inside their township and Dhruva was waiting. Are they really defeated and went back, or they are playing tricks? So in the meantime, suddenly the entire atmosphere became very dark. Started pouring down rain, arrows, axes, maces, different variety of weapons, animals, rain, pus, urine, stool, like that. So many different things suddenly start manifesting. For a moment, Dhruva appeared to be bewildered. So thinking that Dhruva is bewildered, the great sages suddenly come there to remind Dhruva to remember Lord Narayan. In the last words of the previous chapter, it was said that Munaya Vuchu Auttanapada Bhagavamstava Sarangadanva Devakshinothi Avanatarti Haro Vipaksham Yannamadhiyamadina Abhidaya Nishamya Chadda Lokonjasa Tarati Dustaramanga Mrityum. So like that. Just by remembering the whole name of the Supreme Lord, one can actually conquer death and go back home back to Godhead. Then what to speak of conquering the illusion, dispelling the illusions. So my dear Dhruva, kindly remember Lord Narayana. So by saying that remember Narayana, they indicated that throw Narayanastra, which can dispel all these illusions quickly. That was indicated by the sages unto Dhruva. So now in the 11th chapter, we are going to see how Dhruva Maharaj is going to respond to that. In the 11th chapter, Sväyambhuva Manu, seeing the destruction of the Yakshas, stops Dhruva from killing them after giving scriptural instructions. So this chapter is all about Sväyambhuva Manu's instructions unto Dhruva Maharaj. So here there is a special theme in the 4th canto. The devotees, they perform austerities. They will have darshan of Lord Vishnu. When Lord Vishnu is willing to give benedictions, they say that no, I don't want any benedictions. I just want the association of devotees. In reciprocation, Lord gives them the association of devotees. So now, Dhruva Maharaj is going to get the association of Sväyambhuva Manu. Later on, Prithu Maharaj will get the association of 4 Kumaras. And then Prachetas will get the association of Narada Muni. So this is the theme of the 4th canto. So like that. Now what kind of association Dhruva Maharaj is going to receive from Sväyambhuva Manu? We will see in this chapter. So this is the breakup of the entire chapter. So Dhruva dispelled the illusions. Then he began to destroy the Yakshas one and all. Then Sväyambhuva Manu comes there to stop unnecessary killing of the Yakshas. Then he begins to speak the general instructions and then specific instructions, and finally instructs Dhruva to beg forgiveness from Kubera because he was unnecessarily killing the servants of Kubera. So with that, the chapter ends. Maitreya uvacha nishamya gadatam evam rishinam dhanushi Dhruva Sandadestram upasprushya yennarayana nirmitam.
Sri Maitreya said, My dear Vidura, when Dhruva Maharaj heard the encouraging words of the great sages, he performed the achamna by touching water and then took up his arrow made by Lord Narayana and fixed it upon his bow.
So, Here in the first verse, Maitreya Rishi is saying that, hearing the words spoken by the great sages, Dhruva, after performing Achmana, strung an arrow made by Narayana on his bow. Basically, Sandade Astram Yad Narayana Nirmitam. This is a special astra made by Lord Narayana known as Narayana Astra. This Narayana Astra is also used in Mahabharata by Ashwatthama, I suppose. Many other Bhagavata also, Ashwatthama also, Arjuna also uses Narayana Astra. So that is remembered by Dhruva. Remembering it, he put it on the thread of the bow and he is going to release. So that is what it is indicated here. So considering this Narayana Astra, Prabhupada connects it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the paragraph, purport Prabhupada says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also given us a nice weapon for this age. As stated in Bhagavatam, Sango Pangastra. In this age, the Narayana Astra, or the weapon to drive away Maya, is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in pursuance of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, such as Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, and Srivas Thakur. So, in the association of Panchatattva, one should chant Hare Krishna mantra that will drive away the Maya. Like that, it is indicated. Then, after strung the arrow on his bow, then what did he do? Sandhiyamana etasmin Maya guhyaka nirmita Shipram vineshur vidura Klesha jnanodayeyata. Yeah, please someone read the translation. Hare Krishna, devotees online, anyone can read the translation?
As soon as Dhruva Maharaj joined the Narayana Astra arrow to his bow, the illusion created by the Yakshas was immediately vanquished, just as all material pains and pleasures are vanquished when one becomes fully cognizant of the self.
Oh Vidra, when Dhruva employed that Narayana Astra, the illusion created by the Yakshas suddenly disappeared, just as suffering disappears with the dawn of knowledge. Klesha Jnana Udaya Yata, just like Klesha will be destroyed when Jnana Udaya takes place. So for this, the Prabhupada writes that as soon as there is awakening of Krishna consciousness, all the illusory pains and pleasures of material existence are vanquished. Mayam yetam tarandite. Deviyesha gunamayi mamaya durateya. Mam yevai prapadyante mayam yetam tarandite. Constant chanting of the Maha Mantra will keep us always aloof from the illusory energy of Maya. It's like that. So example is given in that way. By the rise of knowledge, who are we? What is our connection with the Supreme Lord? And the klesha arising from the body and mind will be dissipated. So in that way. Tastarchitasram danushi prayunjata Suvarna punka kalaham savasasa Vinustruta avivishurdvishadbalam Yatavanam bhimarava shikandina.
Even as Dhruva Maharaj fixed the weapon upon made by Narayana Rishi onto his bow, arrows with golden shafts and feathers like the wings of a swan flew out from it. They entered the enemy soldiers with a great hissing sound, just as peacocks enter a forest with tumultuous crowing.
Yeah. As Dhruva fixed the weapon on his bow, golden arrows with feathers from swans fired out upon the enemy. like the frightening sound of peacocks in the forest. So with analogy it is explained. Astranam, sorry, Arstastram means the weapon of the sage, that is Narayanastram. Astram, Arsha Astram. Arsha Astram refers to Narayana weapon. The shaft and the tip were made up of gold. The feathers were made from the feathers of the swan. And the word Shara should be supplied. Shara is not there, but it should be added to the verse in that sense. So basically, the one Narayanastra released thousands of arrows whose tip is made up of gold, tip and shaft, and the feathers are made up of swan. And it appeared as if the peacock is flying in the air, all the arrows moving. So like that. Te stigmadarai pradane shilimukair itastata punyajana upadrita tam abhyadavam kupita udayuda suparnamunnadapana ivahaya.
Those sharp arrows dismayed the enemy soldiers, who became almost unconscious, but various yakshas on the battlefield, in a rage against Dhruva Maharaj, somehow or other collected their weapons and attacked. Just as serpents agitated by Garuda rushed towards Garuda with upraised hoods, all the yaksha soldiers prepared to overcome the Dhruva Maharaj with their upraised weapons.
Here it is said that, oppressed by those arrows with sharp points present everywhere on the battlefield, the Yakshas angrily rushed at Dhruva with raised weapons like snakes with raised hoods, attacking Garuda. So being attacked by the arrows released by Dhruva, they all became very angry and they began to attack Dhruva Maharaj in response. Just like the snakes when trampled, they raised their hoods and began attack to that person in that way. Satan prasakter abhidavato murde nikrittavahuru shirodarodaran ninaya lokam paramarka mandalam prajanti nirvidya yamurdvatretasa.
When Dhruva Maharaj saw the yakshas coming forward, he immediately took his arrows and cut the enemies to pieces. Separating their arms, legs, heads, and bellies from their bodies, he delivered the yakshas to the planetary system, which is situated above the sun globe and which is attainable only by the first-class brahmacharis who have never discharged their semen.
Attacked by the Yakshas, Dhruva cut off their arms, thighs, necks, and torsos with his arrows and sent them to the planet where the brahmacharis go after attaining the sun. So basically, seeing that all the Yakshas again attacking Dhruva Maharaj threw more and more arrows with which he began to cut off their heads, hands, legs, all their body limbs. Basically, he is killing them all together. So being killed by Dhruva, they have attained Satyaloka. They attained Maharloka, Janloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, upper four planetary systems. So that is how it is indicated. Following the path of light. Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 talks about path of light. The Jnanis, after perfecting Jnana, following the path of light, they passing through all the upper planetary system, they attain Brahman. But these people being killed by Dhruva, a great devotee, they attain Satyaloka and other upper four planetary systems. That is indicated. By his arrows, Dhruva brought them with severed thighs to Satyaloka, where the sannyasis go after surpassing the sun planet. The perfected jnanis and yogis, after completing their sadhanas, they are promoted to upper planetary systems, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. And they continue to practice their sadhana there. At the end of Brahma's day, then they enter into Brahman. So like that, even these warriors, because they are killed. Generally, the warriors after killed in the battlefield go to Swarga. But here they are specifically killed by Dhruva Maharaj. That's why they attend upper planetary systems. That is indicated here. Because of being killed by the hands of a devotee, they got special elevation. As the Gita says, they return again to the earth. Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. From all abodes up to Brahma Loka, people return, O Arjuna. One should not think that they attend liberation with the sannyasis at the end of the Brahma's life. When the jnanis and yogis, after taking sannyas, when they go to upper planetary systems, so at the end of the day of Brahma, they attend Brahman, they attend liberation. But these people do not attend liberation. That is because one does not even see liberation given to those killed by the Lord, such as Kalanemi, other than when killed by Krishna. Some simple example is that even generally, if some asura is killed by Vishnu, they also promoted to upper planetary systems. Only in rare cases they will attain liberation, not every time. But killed by Krishna, everyone attains liberation. Similarly, killed by Lord Vishnu's devotee Dhruva, they attend upper planetary systems, but not the liberation. So that is what is indicated in this verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, then would their battle with Dhruva be on the piety level, or it will be at this spiritual credit level?
No, it's not about spiritual credit. It's a normal fight.
Piety.
Yeah, on the level of piety only.
Okay.
Because they are killed in the battlefield, specifically they are supposed to be go to Swarga.
Swarga,
But
yeah.
specifically, since they are killed by Dhruva Maharaj, they have attained upper planetary systems. So in that way.
Okay. What will they do in the upper planetary systems?
Maharloka, they continue to practice in the four planetary systems. All the yogis are staying there. Yogis
Yeah,
and
yeah.
jnanis,
So they will become
the great
yogis.
sages. They only do tapasya.
Okay.
So there they don't have any facility for opulence and enjoyment, etc. Only tapasya.
Okay.
Tan hanyamanan abhiviksha guyakan anagasas chitra ratena bhurisha autanapadim kripaya pitamaho manurjagodaupa gata saharshibhi.
When Sväyambhuva Manu saw that his grandson Dhruva Maharaj was killing so many of the yakshas who were not actually offenders, out of his great compassion, he approached Dhruva with great sages to give him good instruction.
Yeah. Now, Sväyambhuva Manu came there. Seeing that many innocent yakshas were being killed by Dhruva, Sväyambhuva Manu, his grandfather, along with many great sages, approached Dhruva and spoke out of compassion. Kripaya Jagada. So, as being promised by Lord Vishnu that he will get association of Vaishnavas, now association of a great Vaishnava in the form of Sväyambhuva Manu is coming to Dhruva Maharaj. So the rest of the chapter is all spoken by Sväyambhuva Manu. Manur Uvacha Alam Vastati Roshena Tamodvarena Papmana Yena Punya Janan Etan Avadis Tvam Anagasa.
Lord Manu said, "My dear son, please stop. It is not good to become unnecessarily angry. It is the path to hellish life. Now you are going beyond the limit by killing yakshas who are actually not offenders."
Yeah, here it is said, Manu is speaking. Dear Dhruva, enough with the excessive anger, the sinful path to ignorance. Anger is the sinful path to ignorance. Tamodvarena papana. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Trividam Narakasthedam Dvaram Nashanam Atmana Kama Krodha Tataloba So Kama, Krodha, Lobha, they are the three pathways to, or three gateways to hell. So here it is also said that excessive anger, Ati Roshena, Tamo Dwarena Papana. Ati Rosha causes Papa, Papa causes Tamo Dwaran, path to ignorance. By anger, you have killed many innocent yakshas. So about this, Prabhupada writes in the commentary that killing is not bad, but when killing is done unnecessarily or when an offenseless person is killed, such killing opens the path to hell. Then in the next paragraph, Prabhupada writes, violence is certainly a path leading to a hellish condition of life, but it is also required for maintenance of the law and order of the state. When a nation is attacked by its enemies, the wholesale slaughter of the citizens should be taken as a reaction to their own sinful activities. That is nature's law. So like that, Prabhupada writes a couple of points in relation to a war, what happens in a battlefield and around battlefield.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
So
Krishna.
we cannot call Dhruva Maharaj's anger to be transcendental. It is in the mode of passion only, right?
Yeah, the anger is out of affection for his brother.
Yeah, it's in the mode of passion, right?
Yeah, because Kshatriya by nature is passionate, so
Yeah,
it is a result of Kshatriya
so
behavior.
it is not transcendental anger, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nasmat kulochitam tata karmaita sad vigarhitam vado yed upadevanam arabdaste rutainasam.
My dear son, the killing of the sinless yakshas which you have undertaken is not at all approved by authorities, and it does not befit a family which is supposed to know the laws of religion and irreligion.
So he's talking about his own family. See, since you are born in our dynasty, you should know what is good and what is bad, what to do, what not to do. You cannot do unnecessarily like this excessive killing, like that is saying. Oh son, this action of killing innocent yakshas is not befitting our family, and this act is condemned by the virtuous. Sad vigarhitam. The virtuous people does not applaud our activities. If we do like this, like that is saying. Nanvekasyaparadena prasangad bahavo hata Bhratur vadabhitaptena tvayanga Vratruvastala.
My dear son, it has been proved that you are very much affectionate towards your brother and are greatly aggrieved at his being killed by the yakshas. But just consider, for one yaksha's offense, you have killed many others who are innocent.
O son, affectionate to your brother, aggrieved by the death of your brother, you have killed many yakshas for the offense of one yaksha, just because of their connection with that one yaksha. So it was one yaksha who killed your brother. You came here to kill that person. By the way, in order to protect that one yaksha, there are many yakshas came. So they were all killed for no reason. So don't go ahead and kill all the yakshas altogether. That is not at all good. Stop. Enough is enough. You already killed many yakshas for the sake of one yaksha for no reason, and you don't uproot the entire yaksha dynasty from the surface of the earth. So something like that. Sväyambhuva Manu is persuading him not to go further. It is a fact that one yaksha killed your brother, and because the others are associated with him, you are killing many. So enough is enough. Stop. Gnayam margo hi sadhunam Rishikeshanuvartinam Yadatmanam Paragraya Griya Vashuva Bhuta Vaishasam.
One should not accept the body as the self and thus, like the animals, kill the bodies of others. This is especially forbidden by saintly persons who follow the path of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Here he says that killing of living entities, just as the animals do, by accepting the body as a self, is not the path of the devotees of the Lord. A tiger kills other animals for their food. That is not a sin. It is not considered as a sin. So tigers can kill any number of animals when they are hungry. That is okay. But if a human being killing unnecessarily for no reason, that is not at all befitting. Especially if that human being is a devotee. The devotees are not supposed to create violence or killing of others unnecessarily. If it is required in a battle, that is okay. But more than what is permitted is not at all allowed. So in that way, a sadhu or a devotee is not supposed to kill innocent people or animals unnecessarily. So kindly stop. Do not go ahead killing all the innocent yakshas for no reason. So like that Sväyambhuva Manu is telling. If the devotees do not come under the control of material affection, then certainly they should not come under the control of violence to living entities. So here one logic is given. The devotee is beyond the influence of three modes of material nature. One of the influence of three modes is material affection. So somebody may say that devotees are not succumb to material affection. Then the devotee should also not succumb to violence to other living entities. They should be freed from the violence to other living entities. So in that way. So there are various reasons which Sväyambhuva Manu is proposing why Dhruva Maharaj should not continue to fight. Should not continue to kill the yakshas. He could have fought with them, he could have defeated them, he could have made them weaponless. That would have been very laudable. But now he is actually cutting off their limbs, cutting off their heads and killing them. That is going a little more than necessary. So in that way, Sväyambhuva Manu is stopping him. Accepting the body as the self, just as animals think of others in relation to their bodies and then commit violence against others, is not the path meant for the devotees. Where the devotees are only interested, the animals are only interested in the food, so they kill other animals. But this should not be the behavior of a devotee. Paragrahya has a negative meaning, not accepting the jiva as the self. Not accepting the soul as the self, but accepting the body as the self, and such kind of materialistic people will cause violence to other living entities. But not a person who considers himself to be Atma will never cause violence to other living entities. So like that. Then Sväyambhuva Manu further continues. Sarva bhutatma bhavena bhutavasam harimbhava Aradhyaya duraradyam Vishnostat paramam padam.
It is very difficult to achieve the spiritual abode of Hare in the Vaikuntha planets. But you are so fortunate that you are already destined to go to that abode by worshipping him as the supreme abode of all living entities.
Here it is said that by worshipping the Lord, even at the age of 5 only, rarely worshipped at the abode of all beings, with the understanding that he is within all beings, Sarva Bhutatma Bhavena, you have achieved the supreme abode of the Lord, Vishnostat Paramam Padam. Even at the age of 5 years old, you have worshipped the Lord, which is very difficult for ordinary grown-up people also. But you have worshipped him, you pleased him, and you attained the abode of the Lord. In future, very soon, you are going to go to the abode of the Supreme Lord. So, from such a great soul, we cannot expect such kind of rash behavior. So kindly stop. Do not go ahead killing unnecessarily the yakshas. It's like that is saying. Since you are the best of all devotees, such conduct is not at all befitting. This is expressed in 2 verses. This verse and next verse, same theme will continue. So because a devotee considers Paramatma being situated in the heart of each and every living entity. So how can a devotee throw arrows at the body of other living entities? If Paramatma is there in that body is as good as a temple. So how can a devotee throw arrows at the temple? So like that is indicating. So since you have considered the Supreme Lord being situated as Paramatma in the heart of everyone and you worshipped him at the age of 5 and got his mercy, and now how can you kill all the living entities in whose hearts the same Lord is situated? So like that. Sarva Bhutatma Bhavena means with thoughts that he is situated in all beings as Paramatma. The next verse. Sattvam Harer Anudhyatas Tatpumsham Amitammatas Katam tu Avadyam Kritavan Anushikshan Satamratam.
Because you are a pure devotee of the Lord is always thinking of you, and you are also recognized by all his confidential devotees. Your life is meant for exemplary behavior. I am therefore surprised. Why have you undertaken such abdominal task?
Yeah. Always remembering the Lord. Hare Anudhyata. Since you are a great devotee, you continuously remember the Supreme Lord. You have been, because you remember the Lord continuously, the Lord recognized you. The great devotees recognize you. You always remember the Lord. Always remembering the Lord, you have been recognized by the great devotees. You teach others the conduct of a saintly devotee. Why then do you act in this shameful way? You are a great emblem of the great devotees. Yadyat acharati shreshtatyeva itarojana. You already established a great example of how to be a devotee, how to become a devotee, how to be a devotee. And how can you do some activity like this, a shameful activity like this? Katam tu avadyam kritavan. So how can you do this kind of activity? So like that, he is asking Dhruva. You always remember the Lord. And this means the Lord out of affection makes him remember. You are always considered by the great devotees such as Narada. Great devotees always talk about you as an example of a devotee. How a devotee should be determined to get the shelter of the Lord, like Dhruva Maharaj. So, like that example is given. So, you are already in the words of great devotees, and how can you perform this kind of rash activity? So, like that is said. This means that he is the object of mercy of those great devotees. Then Sväyambhuva Manu further continues. What are the further qualities of a great devotee? Titikshaya Karunaya Maitriya Chakila Jantushu Samatvena Cha Sarvatma Bhagavan Samprasidati.
The Lord is very satisfied with his devotee when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality.
Yeah, these are the qualities. When they are there in a devotee, the Supreme Lord is very much pleased. The Supreme Lord, the soul of all beings, Sarvatma, is very easily pleased or is completely pleased. Samprasidati. When a devotee is tolerant of superiors, Titikshaya. So towards elders, the devotee should be tolerant. Even the elders sometimes scold or punish, so devotee should be tolerant. Merciful to the inferiors, for the innocent, the devotee should be compassionate. Friendly towards equals, Maitreya, and takes others' happiness and distress as one's own. Akila Jantutu Samatvena. Whatever are the feelings of other living entities, they should feel themselves to be in that position. So when one does all these 4, they will please the Lord very easily. This is somewhat same as Narada Muni said, Gunadikam Mudam Lipset, Gunadamak Anukrosham Gunadamak Maitrim Anvicha Samanat Samanam. So in that way. So same way, with respect to the elders, one should be tolerant. The elders might instead do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. So they may keep telling so many things. So one should be patiently hearing them and following them. That is for our good only. And with inferiors, one should be compassionate. With equals, one should be friendly. With all the other living entities, one should feel their pain and pleasure as one's own pain and pleasure. So in that way. This describes the conduct of the devotee. This describes the conduct of the devotee.
Even Kapila's saying this comes, no? Titikshava, Karunika, Surdam, Sarvadehina.
Ah, yes, yes. They are the different qualities of a devotee, yes. So this verse describes the conduct of a devotee. One should be tolerant of the great, merciful to the inferior, and friendly toward those who are equal. One should think of others' joy and sorrows, hunger and thirst as one's own. So like that. So in this way, one can please the Lord very easily. There is one verse comes at the end of the 4th canto. Narada Muni speaks. Once I'm leaving. I'll give you to security. This is locked, so no problem. You can just lock outside. Thank you. So there is one word spoken by Narada Muni. How to please the Lord very easily. Daya sarvabhuteshu santushta yenakenava sarvendriyopashantecha tushyati apu Janardana. One can very quickly please Lord Janardana. How? Daya sarvabhuteshu, being compassionate to all living entities. So this particular line indicates the principal quality of Vanaprasthas and Sannyasis. A Vanaprastha and Sannyasi is supposed to be compassionate to all the living entities, human beings and other living entities. That should be their primary activity. Santushta Yenakenava should be the primary activity of a Grihastha. They should be satisfied with whatever they have. Whatever comes by destiny. So that should be the principal activity of Grihastha. So that they will please the Lord very quickly. And then for a brahmachari, Sarvendriya Upashantyacha, they should keep their mind and senses always in control. So when one does all these things, a brahmachari controlling senses, grihastha being satisfied with whatever they have by destiny, a vanaprastha and sannyasi showing compassion to all the other living entities, they can quickly please the Supreme Lord. So like this, so at many places in the Bhagavatam we get what to do, what not to do, how to do, etc. etc. So these are some of the important qualities that a devotee should cultivate in order to please the Lord and gain the mercy of the Supreme Lord. There is one verse in Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter in relation to the 4th line. Atmaopanyena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramomata. I consider that practicing yogi who sees equally everything as equal to himself in all circumstances, whether in happiness or in suffering, to be the topmost yogi. So this is the quality of a topmost yogi who is on the level of Atma Rama, who is on the level of Stha Prajna. So that is indicated. If all beings are satisfied, one can infer that the Lord is satisfied. Sarvatma. That means if one feels other happiness as one's happiness, others' distress as one's distress, then one will work for the relief of the others' distress. When one feels like this with all others, everyone will be happy with that person. Who shares their pleasure and pain, everyone will be happy with that person. If everyone is happy means the Paramatma in everyone will be happy. The Supreme Lord will be happy with that person. Sorry, Vijay.
Whatever people are not happy, उसका क्या कर देंगे?
Make them happy.
They are not happy. They are not satisfied.
So find out the ways and means to make them happy. If they are happy, then the Paramatma in them will be happy.
They are always hankering for more.
Then only we can go back to Godhead.
They are always hankering for more than what you do.
So that is a practical problem in the Kali Yuga. It is very difficult to keep everyone happy in the Kali Yuga. That is true. But this is the formula. So, see, Tukaram Maharaj. I'm giving an example.
There was only one Tukaram Maharaj who crores of people. What about the remaining?
That's what I'm saying. Only for Tukaram Maharaj, Vaikuntha Vimana came, not for everyone.
Yeah.
So if you want Vaikuntha Vimana, you should become like Tukaram Maharaj. So it's like that. Samprasanne Bhagavati Purusha Prakrite Ergunai Vimukto Jiva Nirmukto Brahma Nirvana Marchati.
One who actually satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead during one's lifetime becomes liberated from the gross and subtle material conditions. Thus, being freed from all material modes of nature, he achieves unlimited spiritual bliss.
Then he further gets into philosophical aspects. How to please the Lord, how to attain the abode of the Supreme Lord, like that. Though he is speaking to Dhruva, but these are all meant for us. When the Lord is satisfied, Samprasanne Bhagavati, the previous verse talks about how to satisfy the Lord, how to make the Lord satisfied. Then what will be the result of satisfying the Lord? When the Lord is satisfied, a person becomes free from the gunas of Prakriti. Purushaha Prakriter Gunai Vimukta. One will be freed from the influence of the three modes of material nature. And is also freed from the subtle body. Jiva Nirmukta. One is freed from the subtle body. And then one will go back to Godhead. One attains the abode of the Supreme Lord. So the previous verse is the process. This verse is the result. Brahma Nirvana Marchati means one will go back to Godhead. So this is the ways and means of going back to Godhead. Jiva Nirmukta means freed from the subtle body. If one is a Jnani, then he attains merging in Brahman. If one is a devotee, the devotee attains service to the Supreme Lord in the spiritual abode in Vaikuntha. This is understood from Prahlada's statements concerning Brahma Nirvana. Even Prahlad Maharaj also says about the same thing. Adokshashalamba mihashu bhatmana sharirinam samsruti chakra satanam tad Brahma nirmana sukam vidurbudas tato bhajadvam hrudaye hrudishwaram. Text number 14. So wherein Prahlad Maharaj said, the wise know that direct contact with the Lord, which includes the happiness of Brahman, destroys samsara for the sinful persons possessing material bodies in this world. Therefore, worship the Paramatma in your heart. The only one way we can destroy the influence of three modes of material nature is by going back to Godhead. There is no other way. So that's how Prahlad Maharaj mentioned, and here Sväyambhuva Manu also mentioning. Prakriter Gunai Vimukta means that not only he is freed from the gunas of Prakriti, but he is specially liberated beyond merging in Brahman. Vimukta. Mukti stands for Brahman liberation, and Vimukti stands for Vaikuntha liberation. The devotee will go to Vaikuntha and become an associate of the Supreme Lord, will be able to continue to serve the Supreme Lord. Last body, physical body will leave. Then he will go to spiritual world and he will attain the shelter at the Lord further. Supreme Lord. So now so having mentioned about why you should not kill the Yakshas unnecessarily, because that is not the conduct can be expressed by expected from a great devotee. And if a devotee follows compassionate nature, the Lord will be pleased. If the Lord is pleased, one will go back to Godhead. This is like one side, philosophical aspect is done. Now on the other side, so my dear Dhruva, you are thinking that your brother is killed by Yaksha, but Yaksha is not the cause of the death of your brother. Then who is the cause? The time. The Lord is the ultimate cause of the death, because it is under Lord's supervision the maintenance of the universe is taking place. He is the ultimate cause for everything that is happening. That philosophical aspect now he describes in the upcoming verses. You are comfortable with this thing? You want to start the AC? AC is too cold, that's why we turned off. Bhuter panchabir arabder yoshit purusha eva hi tayor vyavaya sambhutir yoshit purusha yoriha.
The creation of the material world begins with the 5 elements, and thus everything, including the body of a man or a woman, is created of these elements. By the sexual life of man and woman, the number of men and women in this material world is further increased.
Now slowly is going to develop how the living entities are born, how they are maintained, how they will be destroyed is very philosophically Sväyambhuva Manu tries to establish. Women and men arise from the bodies made up of the 5 elements. From their interaction, more women and more men will appear. So here, now 10 verses consider the nature of things, how things are happening in the material world, how the material world functions. That is discussed in the next 10 verses, starting from verse number 15 all the way up to verse number 24. All these verses talk about how the material nature functions. So now the question is, who is the killer and who is being killed? So now the subject matter is all about Dhruva is saying that he killed my brother. I came here to punish him. Other Yakshas are fighting him, so I'm killing them. I am not at fault. They should not have come for the battle. Then Sväyambhuva Manu going to the roots. So you are saying that that Yaksha is killing your brother. He had killed your brother. But try to understand who is the killer and who is getting killed. So try to understand it philosophically. By bodies made up of the 5 elements, women and men appear. And by their interaction, more women and more men appear. So basically, Lord Brahma created with the help of the Pancha Mahabhutas, the body of the men and women. And by they becoming father and mother, there are many children in which there are male and female. So like that, the creation is going on. The bodies are created by the combination of Pancha Mahabhutas. The direct cause for the body is the combination of Pancha Mahabhutas. First Brahma created, then later on parents creating the bodies for the children. That's how things are happening. So basically he's telling that you may say that Uttama is your brother because both of you are born from your father and mothers. So but the problem is that all of you are born, all of you are thinking that you are the bodies. Those bodies are born from the Pancha Mahabhutas. Pancha Mahabhutas are the original source of the bodies of each and everyone. So if somebody is killing another body means a group of Pancha Mahabhutas are killing another group of Pancha Mahabhutas. So like that you should see. So in that way, he is coming out. Sorry. Of course, this philosophy can be misused also outside. Some will say it also happened actually. People who read Bhagavad Gita, they say that Paramatma is doing everything. The person starts shooting everyone and says that Paramatma is only shooting, I am not doing. Like that, people can judge and misconstrue the philosophy also. But here is speaking philosophy to a devotee, not to an ordinary person. So that we should see. Because the devotee who is supposed to be in transcendental platform, now he is acting on the material platform. In order to again bring him to transcendental platform, this philosophy is required. For a person who is already on the material platform, he should be informed about how to perform the duties in a proper religious way. So for him, this philosophy should not be spoken immediately in that way. Evam pravartate sarga sthiti samyama evacha gunau vyatikarad rajan mayaya paramatmana.
Manu continued, My dear King Dhruva, it is simply by the illusory material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and by the interaction of the three modes of material nature that creation, maintenance, and annihilation takes place.
Just like creation is happening, like that maintenance and annihilation also happens. So that is indicated in this verse by Sväyambhuva Manu. O King, as the creation of the bodies takes place in this way, so does the maintenance and destruction of the bodies takes place by the actions of the gunas through the maya of the Supreme Lord. What are Pancha Mahabhutas? Pancha Mahabhutas are produced from the three gunas. What are the three gunas? Three gunas are produced from the maya. What is maya? Maya is the energy of the Supreme Lord. So body is created by the Pancha Mahabhutas. It is maintained by the Pancha Mahabhutas. It is destroyed by the Pancha Mahabhutas. Who is Pancha Mahabhutas? Pancha Mahabhutas belongs to three modes. Whose three modes? Three modes belongs to Maya. Whose Maya? Maya belongs to the Supreme Lord. Then who is doing? Supreme Lord is doing through Maya. Maya is doing through three gunas. Three gunas are doing through Pancha Mahabhutas. So like that, one should understand. We'll see what the role of Jiva will later on we see. Jiva is only witness. That's what Lord Kapila said. Jiva is only Drushta. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also told same thing. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. Karmani sarvasha. All karmas are happening by Prakriti, which has three gunas, which gave rise to Pancha Mahabhutas, which gave rise to this body. If there are no hands, if there are no fleshy bone hands, will you lift something? Atma is there, but there is no body. Will you do something? If there are no eyeballs, will you see something? All of us have spectacles. If there are no spectacles, can we see properly? Huh? We need spectacles to see properly. So like that. We are able to see with the help of the spectacles.
And he is not a witness, he is the prisoner, no? He is
Oh.
forced to do something.
That's what witness means, prisoner only. He's not doing anything, just seeing what's happening around. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasya. Everything is happening by Prakriti only. Because Prakriti are three gunas of the body. Panchabhutas made into body. But ahankara vimudatma, kartaham iti manati. Only ahankara vimudatma says that I am the doer. Otherwise, Atma is simply a witness.
When somebody is forced to do something, that is a different thing. No?
Who is forcing whom?
Prakriti is forcing the Jiva to act. Fine.
Prakriti does not force Jiva to act. Prakriti only doing it. Prakriti is not forcing Jiva to act. Prakriti is only making plan. From Prakriti only comes mind. From Prakriti only comes ego.
The Jiva is
Wait.
He is the witness.
Wait, I'll explain you. From Prakriti only coming Pancha Mahabhutas. From Prakriti only comes mind. From Prakriti only comes intelligence. From Prakriti only Ahankara comes. It is Ahankara which tells, do this to the mind. And mind tells to the senses, do this. The senses are acting. The senses are acting through the gross body. Ahankara is telling.
So everything is done by Prakriti.
Ah.
Where is the Jiva? The Jiva does
Jiva is only witness. Jiva is only sitting there. Sitting in the core of the heart.
Intelligence will change it, na, Prabhuji?
Which one?
Intelligence will give you the correct directions.
No. Intelligence only, whatever order given by the Ahankara, which is expressed by the mind, intelligence makes a plan how to execute that. That's all. Intelligence will not give good direction. Huh?
Who's ahankar?
किसका भी दो अहंकार तो अहंकार.
No, it is the jiva's ahankar.
No, ahankara belongs to prakriti, not jiva.
No.
No, ahankara belongs to
Everybody has
prakriti.
a different ahankara. Everybody does not have the same ahankara.
Everybody has different swabhava. Ahankara is there. Everyone, the ahankara element is same. Same. Does the earth element in your body and my body both are same or not?
Yes.
Same way, ahankara is also same in your body and my body.
Function is the same. The properties are different. No, but
Swabhava is different. Ahankara is same.
then you are speaking Mayava's philosophy. You and I, we are all same. We are all we are all different.
See,
We are same or we are different.
24 elements are elements only.
Okay.
Matter is matter.
Two jivas
It
are
is
same
good.
or different.
Huh?
Two jivas are same or different.
Qualitatively same, quantitatively different.
What does that mean?
अचिंत्य अभेद तत्व चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने प्रपोज किया 500 वर्ष पूर्व.
There are infinite number of living entities. All of them are same or different. Do they have each of them? Does they have their particular individual characteristic? Or
Yes, every jiva is unique. Every jiva has their own karma and their own swabhava.
Unique. Then every jiva has a unique ahankara.
No.
Why not?
See, ahankara is not unique, Prabhu. Swabhava is unique. Ahankara is same for everyone. Ahankara is just element. When you make a computer, when Microsoft, not my HP, produces 1,000 computers in 1 week. In the month of August, starting from 1st to 7th, they produced 1,000 computers. Is the hardware same in all the 1,000 computers?
Yes.
The software same in all the 1,000 computers? Hardware same means gross body is same. Software same means subtle body is same.
But the user is different. Then how do you explain the user?
Huh?
The user for all the 1,000 computers is different. How do you explain the user then?
That's what I'm saying. The Jivatma is different.
Yeah. What is
Jivatma's karma is different. Jivatma's swabhava is different. According to their previous karmas, according to their swabhava, they will utilize this machine the way they want. That's all. In the HP computer, there is Windows 10 that has a unique way of working. The Windows 10 is there in every computer. If it is coming from Microsoft, everywhere it is there, Windows 10. So Windows 10 operates same way. That means ahankara, mind, intelligence are same everywhere. But the user might use it differently.
Yeah.
That's what I am saying. The user means Atma.
Yeah.
So the Atma has a particular swabhava. That swabhava is different, not ahankara is different. Ahankara is same, but swabhava is different.
It is the Atma only who is utilizing the computer.
Ah.
Atma is not sleeping.
Huh?
Atma is not sleeping, no then. Atma is active.
Okay. How is active? How is active?
Who is using the PC?
See, these are not, you cannot correlate this simple example with the Atma, how the Atma is functioning. This is not an example to show how Atma is functioning. This is only just to help you understand difference between gross body and subtle body. Atma is witness. Atma's qualitative nature is Anandamayo Abhyasat. Atma is always pleasure seeking. Atma wants some pleasure. Now you have the body at your disposal. That body will give you pleasure. So 100 students are using the laptop. If they want to get pleasure out of the laptop. So one person gets pleasure by hearing music. One person gets pleasure by playing games. One person gets pleasure by watching movies. One person gets pleasure by chatting. One person gets pleasure by making videos in the computer, by making new videos. One person gets pleasure by writing code in the computer. One person gets pleasure by making drawing in the computer. These are all different means of getting pleasure. Instrument is same, but that instrument can function various ways. So what function they want to use, it all depends on their swabhava. What mentality they acquired over many lifetimes. That is their swabhava. Accordingly, they perform activities. According to their karma, vasanas and swabhavas.
So when the person dies, he takes the swabhava and karma along with him.
And also subtle body. Subtle body also goes
So
along
it's
with
not
it.
taking
Gross body.
ahankara there.
No, ahankara goes along with it. Subtle body means ahankara also. No? The 10 senses, the 4 antakaranas, the 10 pranas, along with the breathing, prana. They all go with the.
So which means he is carrying the ahankara also.
Yes. When, for example, in this computer, you have a lot of apps. So this computer hardware is getting damaged. You want to change the hardware. Then what do? You retrieve all the software into a memory drive, then install a new motherboard, then again reinstall all the software. That is like changing the body. So like that.
That is understood. Because, I was, when you say that the Atma is the witness,
Yeah.
what does that mean? But that, does it mean that the Atma does anything or does it not do anything? What
Atma does only one thing.
Ah.
Atma wants pleasure.
Yeah.
So whatever the pleasure is given by the gross and subtle bodies, it is trying to experience. That's all. It is only pleasure seeking, it is only experiencing the pleasure. But the problem is, we think that Atma is doing everything, but Atma is not doing everything. In order to provide pleasure to the Atma, the false ego, mind, and intelligence are working very hard. And by the way, they are working hard. They consider that I am working, he is enjoying. Why should he enjoy? Since I am working, I should enjoy. So Ahankara becomes the super boss. Actually, the Atma is the boss, super boss. Atma is instructing Ahankara to give me pleasure. And Ahankara initially Ahankara says, okay, boss, I will work for your pleasure. He is working. By the way, understand that I am working very hard, like a donkey. He is enjoying. So why should he enjoy? I should enjoy. No, Ahankara says, I want to enjoy. You keep quiet.
okay.
Soul remains quiet and Ahankara is enjoying and soul is seeing. करते रहो. मुझे चाहिए थोड़ा दे दो. So like that. So it's Ahankara which instigates us to do things in a certain way. But the soul experiences real pleasure when we perform devotional activities, which are very close to the soul's nature. By performing activities which are very close to the gross body, subtle body, the soul will never experience happiness. It is only simply waiting, anticipation of real pleasure.
So if you are doing devotional service, why are you not experiencing pleasure?
When we do devotional service, we experience pleasure. Yes, Madhush.
I was just thinking, Roji, when you said that Swabhav is unique to everybody, like, Swabhav is acquired by the past karmas and the modes the person is in. But
Yes.
this cycle can go on. I suppose if I'm having say bad Swabhav because of my karma and because of the mode, so I'll be acting according to that Swabhav only, which I'll be like carrying for years and for lifetimes together. So how does
Yes.
one come out of this?
Yeah. When we change our identity, we come out of it. We developed a particular Swabhava because we are identifying with our external coverings, with our gross body, subtle body. When we change that Swabhava and we come to the platform that Jivera Sarupai Krishna and Nityadas, then our Swabhava, now currently our Swabhava is like a master. I am the master and hence I am the enjoyer. That is our acquired Swabhava. So eventually we change that Swabhava into I am the servant, the Lord is the master, and I am meant to serve him for his pleasure. Then the Swabhava changes. That Swabhava is a fertile ground for a Atma to go back home, back to Godhead.
But that Swabhava to become a fertile ground, we have to have that kind of mode. But the Swabhava is because of some other mode, which is not very favorable. Then how I don't know. I mean, if I have a
Same thing. The answer lies in your question only. You said that we have acquired this Swabhava because of our so many activities in our so many lifetimes, because we were associated with so many different modes.
Yeah.
We can change our Swabhava by changing our surroundings. If our surroundings are in the pure goodness state, so our Swabhava also changes accordingly.
But my Swabhava should instigate that, na? That my Swabhava should tell me that I should be in the mode of goodness. My Swabhava is only in the mode of passion and ignorance. How will it say it? How will it ask?
Swabhava does not tell that we should be in mode of goodness. Shastra will tell us that we should be in the mode of goodness.
Yeah. So like
we should take shelter of Shastra. Shastra keeps telling us that okay, be in the mode of goodness or be in the association of devotees. Slowly, our Swabhava gets what contagious by the surroundings in which we are living. Gets affected by the surroundings in which we are living. So choosing that surroundings is inspired by Shastra. Shastra inspires us in which surrounding we should be.
That's understood, Prabhuji. But then what I feel is that my Swabhava should inspire me to read Shastra. My Swabhava should tell me.
Swabhava will never inspire us to read Shastra. Swabhava will always tell degrade, 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 because we are in the material world.
Yeah.
Because we have accumulated that Swabhava, which only makes us degrade further. Only when we take shelter of Shastra. If you remember first canto, second chapter, it is mentioned how to get mercy, how to get this Shraddha and the Shastra? By serving great souls. By Mahaseva, we get Satam Krupa. By serving the great souls knowingly or unknowingly, we develop Ajnat Sukriti. That Ajnat Sukriti will attract the mercy of the great souls. By that mercy of the great souls, we develop Shraddha, Adav Shraddha on the Shastra. So with that Adav Shraddha, we listen to Shastra, we make an endeavor to follow Shastra. That's where slowly our Swabhava gets changed step by step.
So I'm just trying to understand that the inspiration to serve a great devotee or taking shelter of Shastra, if it comes from within, also it depends on the mode. Suppose if I'm taking any decision in the middle of the day or late in the evening, that could be a wrong decision. But if I take a decision early in the morning with that is mode of goodness, then it can help me. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. The modes anyway influence us. We are performing activities according to the influence of the mode, that is true. But if at all we want to change, we need to be in the association of the people in the transcendence. So by their mercy, by their krupa, when we serve them, we develop Shraddha and Shastra. That will slowly, step by step, Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhusanga, Vajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, like that, it progresses further.
Okay. Yeah.
See, just like here, Binit Prabhu is again asking again, soul is acting, soul is acting. I'm saying Ahankara is acting. Same way, the modes are there. But we know this thumb rule that Shastra is meant to guide us. So when we take shelter of Shastra only, we can guide our life events. So as long as we continue to take shelter of our Sabhava only, we are doomed. Shastra is there. Everyone by birth only we were told about Shastra. Ramayana, Mahabharata and all. Every small child also knows about it. In the East and in the West, they hear about Bible and all. There is always Shastra. So no one is, it is not that we are like aliens or we are living in the foreign like in the forest like aborigines, where no one can get to hear about Shastra. We hear about Shastra, but our faith and Shastra develops only by the mercy of a great devotee. That is only, we can attract the mercy of great devotees only when we serve them, knowingly or unknowingly. That means, as a person living in this world, we should develop one quality, that we should serve others. That is the default quality we should have. If we don't serve others, that is a sure shot way of degrading ourselves. If we continue to serve each and everyone, since we are serving everyone, one among them will be a great devotee. So that great devotee's mercy will enable us to take shelter of Shastra. So the default setting is serving everyone. That's why the general principle for any person living in this world is Atiti Devo Bhava. Anybody comes unnoticedly, we should serve them. We should receive everyone as a guest and treat them nicely and serve them. At least offer some nice words, water, possible some food. This is a default setting of our culture.
Okay.
So whomsoever we may receive, one among them might be a great soul. That's enough. If we serve them unknowingly, that's enough. Our journey back to Godhead begins.
Okay. Great.
So, this is like society norms. It is not in one only to learn. It is coming from generation after generation. So now slowly we are getting to forget that. So it's like that.
Yeah, so you become actually neutral to your conditioning and come out of this and then decides to do something nice. And then that will pay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
Of course, this is not something we are discussing now. Bhagavad Gita also same thing taught, and teachings of Lord Kapila, Bhagavatam in many places. It is like general philosophy.
Yeah, this is generic what you just said, but I was just thinking since you were talking about the ahankara and the mind and the intelligence and also the swabhava. So I was just thinking that always we are under the, because I don't know whether you have heard this, but there's a saying that swabhav funeral pyre ke saath jata hai, so it doesn't go that easily. As they say, your
No,
swabhava
मतलब
is finished.
स्वभाव goes with the funeral pyre means the आत्मा के साथ चला जाएगा आगे.
Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah,
if
that's
you remember, we discussed creation also na second canto, third canto, when Mahavishnu glances along with Jiva's karma and Swabhava
goes with it. Yes, yes.
So not the subtle body and gross body. Jiva always accompanies with the karma and Swabhava till the time one gets liberated. The Swabhava and karma does not leave the Jiva until we get liberated, until we go out of the material universe and until we attain perfection. Till then they are with us. It is not that ordinary ashamashi thing.
Yeah, so it gets difficult even then that your swabhava is always with you. So to get out of your swabhava and do something nice using the same swabhava.
Yeah. So that's why culture plays a major role. So our culture, family culture, traditional culture plays a major role. Whether though we want to, you don't want, since it is a cultural aspect, one is forced to follow. If we live in a cultural setting, but if we live in a multi-polis like this, so we live in our own world. Culture, what culture? So like that it comes. So it's like that. That's why the surroundings plays a major role.
Okay, thank you.
Correction.
Hare Krishna,
So
Prabhu,
now,
I had one question.
Please.
Prabhuji, does the Atma know it has been put in this condition karke by the Lord?
Does Atma know that he is put into this condition by the Lord? That's what your question?
Yeah.
No, Atma knows that I myself have come here.
It knows
Lord
that?
did not put him in that condition. He himself put in that condition. When the Atma is in the womb of the when the Atma is in the womb of the Lord, Atma remembers that it is my fault that I have come here. From last 100 lives I am struggling here. This lifetime should be the last lifetime. I should go back home back to Godhead, like that things. But as soon as he comes out of the womb of the mother, again he forgets.
That is for a devotee. That's for the devotee. We're talking about a devotee who prays to the Lord. It comes in Kapila's the same. But I'm generally asking, does the Atma in its pure form, does it understand that I've been put in this I am in this condition because of my this thing, or the Lord has created this ahankara, mind, and all those things?
When one realizes that one is Atma, then he will realize everything.
Okay.
As long as one understands that one is the body, one is so smart person, so like intelligent person, like that. As long as one thinks like that, one will never understand all these things, philosophical things. At least theoretically also, when we hear that, keep on hearing that we are not the body, we are the soul, we are soul, then we get a glimpse of what we are. Otherwise, as long as we think with respect to the body, Hare Krishna. So,
no, because
this
it
is my
always
understanding.
bewilders me how the Atma starts identifying with the body. Because if the Atma knows that it has been put in this condition, it should stop identifying, isn't it? Why does it start identifying?
It's very simple. Just by wearing the uniform, we identify ourselves like that. A military officer, by wearing the military uniform, will he identify as a military officer or will he identify the doctor?
Okay.
Uniform matters, that's all.
Okay.
A student wearing school uniform, he will say, who are you? I am student. A student wearing the sports uniform, he will say, I am the sports person. Even in the cricket ground playing, he will not say that I am student. He will say, I am a fast bowler or swing bowler. I am the opening batsman. Like that he will say. So because that's what is identity right now, based on the external covering. It's pretty simple.
Okay, Prabhuji.
It is not that simple as it is said. We can say
No,
many
I
things.
agree. No, so many things are theoretical. I agree to it. But then there's always, so many things. Now you've said material nature gives all these things, ahankara, mind, intelligence, all those things. But the Atma is the only thing which is apart from all these things. But does it realize that I've been put in this condition, so I have to come out of it? It identifies. Why does it identify? Those thought process keeps going on. That's why I asked.
It will realize only when he keeps on hearing, when he gets purified. When that mental identity goes away a little bit, then he starts getting realized. So in that way. So on Sunday morning, the student goes to playground, playing. Evening 6 p.m. He will understand that tomorrow morning exam is there. Then he will realize that I'm a student also. Otherwise, whole day he was only thinking that I'm a player. But evening 6 p.m. he will realize that tomorrow morning 11 a.m. there is an exam. I am also a student. Then he suddenly stops the playing and comes home and studies something. So like that, something like that. So here, Sväyambhuva Manu is saying that just as the creation takes place by the Pancha Mahabhutas in the form of the bodies, gross body and subtle body, so by mother and father made of the same elements, maintenance takes place. The birth takes place from Pancha Mahabhutas. Maintenance also takes place from the same Pancha Mahabhutas which are in the form of the parents. How? When the child is born, the child food depends upon the mother's body. The child gets nourishment from the body of the mother. Afterwards, depends on the nourishment based on the food and other milk and milk products, which are coming from the body of the cow, the body of the plants, which are the transformation of Pancha Mahabhutas under the supervision of the parents. It is parents who provide the maintenance of the children. So the parents are maintaining the children. So directly or indirectly. And by the bodies of criminals, by the bodies of tigers, and by the snakes, the destruction takes place. The death takes place either by accident or some fight or some crime or by tigers. In the olden days, the tigers would come and kill people out of hunger, or by snake bites. Nowadays, by diseases, corona, such kind of virus and all killing people. So like that. So basically, all these are also made up of Pancha Mahabhutas only. Other living entities are also made up of Pancha Mahabhutas. The Pancha Mahabhutas cause our birth, they maintain us, as means the body, which we have acquired, and they destroy the body. That means they cause the death of the body. However, the actions of the gunas do not take place by themselves, but the gunas act by the maya of the Supreme Lord. Creation takes place by rajas, maintenance takes place by sattva-guna, annihilation takes place by tamoguna. The three modes have prominent services: rajoguna creation, sattva-guna maintenance, tamoguna destruction. That means creation, maintenance, and destruction are all happening because of three modes, not because of atmas. So like that. He further continues. Nimitta matram tastrasin nirguna purusharshabha vyakta vyaktam idam vishwam yatra brahmati lohavat.
My dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. He is the remote cause of the creation of this material cosmic manifestation. When he gives the impetus, many other causes and effects are produced, and thus the whole universe moves, just as iron moves by the integrated force of a magnet.
Yeah, here one example is given. By the influence of a magnet, the iron particles move wherever a magnet goes. Similarly, by the influence of Supreme Lord, the Maya functions, three gunas function, Pancha Mahabhutas function. Like that, things are happening in this material world. The Lord, who is situated beyond the influence of three modes, is the indirect cause for the creation, maintenance, and annihilation. The direct cause of creation is mode of passion. The direct cause of maintenance is mode of goodness. The direct cause of destruction is mode of ignorance. But who is the indirect cause? Who is making the three modes act? Supreme Lord, who is situated beyond three modes, above three modes. The Lord beyond the gunas is the indirect cause, within whom the universe of cause and effect moves, just as a magnet moves iron. The Supreme Lord is like the magnet. Because of his influence, the entire universe is created, maintained, and annihilated. Things are happening. How can creation, maintenance, and destruction of the bodies take place without some foundation of consciousness? How can you say that the creation is happening by ignorance, passion, maintenance is happening by goodness, and ignorance, destruction is happening by ignorance? These are all inert. How can inert matter can cause all these things? There should be some conscious being. Without soul, how can things happen like that, as you asked? Same thing is answered here. Yes, there is a conscious being who is known as Supreme Lord, who is like the magnet, is making all the iron particles to move here and there. Since the Lord is the indirect cause, this material universe with cause and effect moves as if conscious through the bodies of devatas and men, just as with a magnet as the indirect cause, iron moves about as if having life. Just above the paper, there are iron particles. Below the magnet is there. Below the paper, magnet is there. When the magnet is moving, the iron particles are moving here and there. Since we don't see the magnet directly, we see that iron is moving as a miracle. That is what is happening now. Everywhere we see things are happening. And we see that we are doing these things are happening by the nature's will and all. But there is a person behind everything, the indirect cause, the Supreme Lord. So that is indicated. So in the purport at the end, Prabhupada says that Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Radhir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is the remote cause for everything that is happening in this material world. If that is so, then creation, maintenance, and destruction should occur simultaneously. Why they are happening one after the other? If Lord is doing all these things from the far distance, they should do everything together. Why creation once and maintenance next and then next destruction? So Sväyambhuva Manu answers. Sakalo idam bhagavan kala shaktya guna pravaeha vibhaktya virya karoti akrutaiva nihatya hanta chesta vibhumna kaludur vibhavya.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his inconceivable supreme energy, time, causes the interaction of the three modes of material nature, and thus varieties of energy become manifest. It appears that he is acting, but he is not the actor. He is killing, but is not the killer. Thus it is understood that only by his inconceivable power is everything happening.
So this verse is somewhat like Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. He is neither killer nor being killed, like that, such kind of things will come. The Lord acting at the jivas entering into Maya, separated from himself by the agitation of the gunas through time, acts and does not act. He kills and does not kill. The actions of the Lord are inconceivable. This is one example we always hear about the connection between the jivas and the Supreme Lord. The Paramatma is like the sun. Jivatmas are like the sun rays. One ray is like the one Jivatma. So they are all manifesting from Paramatma only. Mamai Vamsha, Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. All the living entities are the different amshas of the Supreme Lord. When Mahavishnu glances upon Prakriti, he impregnates Prakriti with the Kala Shakti and Jiva Shakti. So that means Jivas are expansion of the Supreme Lord only. They are pulling up the small particles of sun rays, which are coming from the sun only. That means they are all coming from Mahavishnu only, small particles of Mahavishnu. But they are entering into Prakriti. So by entering into Prakriti, they are getting separated from Mahavishnu. So in one sense, Jivas are Mahavishnu small amshas. So they are non-different from Mahavishnu. But at the same time, they are getting separated from Mahavishnu. They are not Mahavishnu also. So whatever activities that Jivas are performing are not the activities of Mahavishnu, because they are separated. At the same time, they are also The Jivas are parts of Mahavishnu. There are small amshas of Mahavishnu. Their activities are also the activities of Mahavishnu. So it is both the way. Since they are Lord's parts, their activities are also Lord's activities. But though they are Lord's parts, because they are separate from the Lord, their activities are also separated from the Lord. So in spite of creating unlimited variety of living entities which are parts and parts of him, he himself has his own existence. So their activities cannot be called as his activities because he himself has his own existence. He himself has his own activities. So in that way, whatever activities the Jivas performs are not the activities of Mahavishnu. So like that, it is indicated. So the actions of the Lord are highly inconceivable. We cannot understand. Like that, it is indicated. No, there is sequential agitation of the gunas by the time energy. It is not simultaneous. This is basically the creation pastime, which we have read many times in the second and third cantos. The Lord and the Jiva Shakti entering into Maya Shakti separated from the Lord by agitation of the gunas to the time energy, step by step acts. So we have seen that when Kala Shakti, Jiva Shakti enters into Prakriti, the three modes are getting agitated, 24 elements are born. Eventually Lord combine them, Brahmandas are formed, then eventually universal form appear, then the Jivas gets the bodies and performs activities, etc. That is all happening in sequence, one after the other. The Lord is the material cause. Because it is from the Lord only coming Prakriti. From Prakriti coming 24 elements. The 24 elements are the material cause for the body. Okay. And the Lord also is the indirect cause, Nimitta Karana. Since he is non-different from his energies of the gunas, time, and the jiva. The Prakriti is non-different from him. The Kala Shakti is non-different from him. Jiva Shakti is also non-different from him. That's why the Lord is also indirect cause, Nimitta Karana. He is the source of everything. So, in that way. He is the non-doer, but at the same time, he is the non-doer. Since these items are not the activities of Lord Swarupa. In spite of expanding himself as Kala Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and Prakriti, the activities of Kala Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and Prakriti are not his activities because he himself has his own Swarupa. The activities performed by his own Swarupa are said to be his own activities, not otherwise. Thus, he kills and is not the killer. He has Prakriti as Panchamahabhutas, he kills. He has Mahavishnu, does not kill. Because he has nothing to do with the material activities that are happening in the material world. So this is the Achinta Shakti of the Supreme Lord. Then the question comes, why does he create the universe if he is not doing anything? Why does he not continually create the universe and not have destruction? He created the universe and he is maintaining some time and is destroying it. Why is doing like that? Let him do continuous creation only. Why does he want maintenance and creation? Let there be only creation, let there be only maintenance. Why does he has created destruction? Why does he make inequality in the universe? To dismiss such questions, it is said that he is inconceivable. Since he is the powerful Lord, Vibhumna, this universe is a manifestation of his power. We cannot say how Lord should act because Lord is all powerful, he is completely independent, he can act the way he wants. We cannot dictate how the Lord should act and all because he is all knowing and all powerful, Abhijna Swarat. He can act the way he wants. We cannot say that, okay, oh Lord, you only create, don't maintain and destroy. Not that. Lord made a system, it's up to his will. The way he want, he will maintain. The way he want, he will create. The way he want, he will destroy. Who are we to tell the Lord to the way we want? So like that, it is mentioned in this particular verse. So we will continue after a couple of minutes break. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Devotees are there?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Text number
Yes,
19.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. So ananto antakarakalo anadir adikrit avyaya janam janena janayan marayan mrutyunantakam.
My dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is ever existing, but in the form of time. He is the killer of everything. He has no beginning, although he is the beginning of everything, nor is he ever exhaustible, although everything is exhausted in due course of time. The living entities are created through the agency of the Father and killed through the agency of death, but he is perpetually free of birth and death.
Yeah. Further qualities of the Lord are mentioned. The Supreme Lord, as time, is without destruction, but causes destruction of everything that is there around. The Supreme Lord, as time, is eternal, but he destroys everyone and everything around us. And he is without birth, as time is anadi, but he causes the birth of everyone. For all of us, we have a birth date and death date, but for Kala, there is no birth date and death date. Kala is anadi. It is there from the very beginning. He is inexhaustible, avyaya. He is ever existing. He produces people by means of other people. Janam, janena janayan. Through the parents, the children are born, and destroys even Yamaraj by call of Rudra. And all of us, our death is under the supervision of Yamaraj. Yamaraj is one among the Devatas, and the death of the Devatas is under the supervision of Lord Shiva, Rudra. Because it is by the influence of Rudra only destruction takes place. At the time of destruction, all the Devatas are also destroyed. That means basically at the end of every Manvantara, the Devatas will change. That is what is indicated here. Even the Yamaraj, who is one among the Devatas, will be destroyed at the end of the Manvantara by the influence of Kalagni Rudra. So it's like that. See his other powers. He is without destruction. The Supreme Lord himself is without destruction, Ananta. But he is the destruction of others in the form of time. He is without birth. He is Anadi. But he causes the birth of all others. He is inexhaustible like Chintamani, supplying everything without decrease. At the cause of birth, he produces children by fathers. As the destroyer, he destroys even Yamaraj by Kalagni Rudra. Even Yamaraj is destroyed by the influence of Kalagni Rudra, Lord Shiva. So it's like that. Because Lord Shiva is the ultimate destroyer. He is Kala Rupa, Mahakala Purusha. So in that way. न वै स्वपक्षोऽस्य विपक्ष एव वा परस्य मृत्योर्विसता समं प्रजा तं दावमानम् अनुदावन्ति अनीशा यथा रजांसि अनिलं भूतसंगा.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his feature of eternal time, is present in the material world and is neutral towards everyone. No one is his ally and no one is his enemy. Within the jurisdiction of time element, everyone enjoys or suffers the result of his own karma or fruitive activities. As when the wind blows, small particles of dust fly in the air, so according to one's particular karma, one suffers or enjoys material life.
So now with the example is telling that how time functions, how time carries the birth and death of all the living entities. With an example is telling now. The Lord has no friend or enemy. Navai sapaksho asya vipaksha evava. What was the verse in Bhagavad Gita? Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshosti na priya. For the time or for the Paramatma, everyone is equal. Paramatma does not have any favoritism towards anybody. He enters all beings as death equally. So the time enters into each and every person's life as death equally. That means death comes for everyone. Time does not show favoritism that, okay, I will kill only this person, I will not kill that person because he's my friend, not like that. Death comes for everyone. The jivas dependent on karma and associated with matter, the 24 elements, follow the Lord as he moves along. The Lord in the form of time going ahead. Time is passing. No one can stop time. Along with the time, all of us are also going. We cannot say that in the last 2 years we were told home quarantine. That is the dictate of time. We have to follow. We cannot say if we not following and coming out, we are strongly beaten by the police. So that's what we have to follow the dictates of the time. Just like the particles of dust follow the current of the air, all the living entities will simply follow the dictates of time. It's like that. Though the Lord acts in this way, he cannot be accused of injustice since he does not show favorites. This is explained in the 2 verses. Though Lord creates, maintains and annihilates according to his own desire, we cannot dictate him. He is independent. That is not because of his favoritism or injustice. He has no favorites. He simply acts. That is his way of acting. The Lord enters equally into all beings in the form of death. Though he is equal, there is difference in the results for the jivas because of their karmas or because their karmas are not equal. An example is given. So how can you say that death is equal to all? Death is not equal. Different people go through different death. Some people's death is very miserable. Some people's death is very peaceful. Some people's death is very ghastly. How can you say that death is same? The circumstances may be different. Death is same. But what happens after death will be depend upon their karmas. But death will come for everyone. How it comes depends on their karmas. What happens after death depends on their karmas. But death comes. That is the influence of time. So now an example is given. The jivas dependent on karma associated with the elements follow after moving time, just like the dust particles follow the moving wind. When the wind moves, it takes away so many dust particles, some creeper, some grass, some twig, some paper. But how long they will go along with the time? According to their weight and volume. The paper's weight is more, it cannot run faster along with the wind. It goes slowly, after some time it falls down. It is not within the pull of the wind. So like that, this is like our karma. According to our karmas, we follow the current of time, but according to our karmas, we change our course. We get a death in a particular circumstances. After death, we go to a particular place and particular circumstances. Our karmas. But our journey is based on the movement of time. So like that. Just as the wind does not see differences, whether dust causing darkness or water or fire enters it, so the Lord sees no difference through the jivas experience different karmas. So when there is Chakravat is going on, sometimes the Chakravat might cause cyclone also. Sometimes the Chakravat can bring dust and create darkness all around. So different things can happen. What comes along with it? It depends on the circumstances. But Chakravat is moving. So like the time is moving. So in that way. Basically, the Lord at the time activate this material world. As a result, the world is created, maintained, and annihilated. So Lord is only a remote cause. So in that way. Under His supervision only everything is happening. So Dhruva, don't take that this Yaksha as a personal enmity towards your brother. That's why he killed your brother. So you have to revenge. You have to make justice for the death of your brother. Not like that. Everything is happening by the will of the Lord. Some people live longer, some people die faster. For no reason, don't accuse somebody else. The person who is causing the death of your brother is only simply an instrument. He is not the principal cause. Who is the principal cause? Dhruva might ask, I want to take revenge on the principal cause. Principal cause is Supreme Lord. What revenge we can take on the Supreme Lord? So keep quiet. Something like that. Or otherwise become calm, become normal. Ultimately, everything is under the supervision of Supreme Lord. Ayusho apachayam jantos tataivopachayam vibhu ubhabayam rahitam swasto dustasya vidadatyasau.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is all-powerful and he avoids the results of one's fruitive activities. Thus, although one living entity's duration of life is very small, whereas that of another is very great, he is always in his transcendental position, and there is no question of lessening or increasing his duration of life.
Yeah, he further continues here. Living beings have short or long lives. Some living entities are short, some living entities are long. Just like when Chakravarti is going on, some particles will go along the Chakravarti for long distance. Some particles will drop down after some time only because of their weight and volume, etc. Same way. The Lord is free of both. The Chakravarti does not show any favoritism towards the big particle and small particle. It is going and things are following it. Does not matter. It goes on. Being situated in his transcendental position, he awards these results to those dependent on karma. The Supreme Lord only simply awards the results as per one's karma. He does not show any favoritism or disfavoritism. If suppose a person is supposed to die now, he will die. The Lord just allows, sanctions that particular event to take place. He does not have any favoritism or hatred for some others. So here in this purport, Prabhupada writes one interesting point. Prabhupada says that the best interest of the living entity is to engage himself in devotional service and go home back to Godhead. As long as we are here, we are continuously subjected to creation, maintenance, and annihilation. Creation, maintenance, and annihilation. Only when we go back home back to Godhead, we can be freed from all these so-called effects of the modes. Flies have short lives and devatas have long life. Flies live for only 1 day or 2 days. Devatas live for one manvantara. So because of their dependence on their past karmas. Based on one's karma, either some get long life or others get short span of life. So in that way. Kechit karma vadantenam. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Prabhu, I'm very extremely sorry. Raj Radhika Mataji has WhatsApp that she is unable to connect.
Okay, tell Mataji to restart her device and join.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that, Prabhuji.
Nice. Kechit karma vadantenam swabhavam apare nripa eke kalam pare daivam pumsha kamam utapare.
The differentiation among varieties of life and their suffering and enjoyment is explained by some to be the result of karma. Others say it is due to nature, others due to time, others due to faith, and still others say that it is due to desire.
So, till now, Sväyambhuva Manu is talking about everything is happening by the will of the Supreme Lord in the form of time. So, but this may not be agreeable to different people. Different people might come up with different philosophies. What are the different philosophies that are popular in the world? Here is summarizing. These are the different philosophies that are there in the world at that time. O king, some say it is karma. It is by one's karma only, one's birth and death takes place. Some say it is the nature of the matter. Apare enam sabhavam. Some say it is the nature of the material world. The material world is like that. What can be done? Things will happen like that only. Some say it is time. It is all because of kalam. Currently, it is Kali Yuga going on. We cannot expect Satya Yuga behavior. Since it is Kali Yuga, we expect only Kali Yuga behavior all around. It is the influence of time. And finally, some say it is all because of planets. The Navagrahas are moving because of that. Things are happening like this. Ativrishti is happening at some places, Anavrishti happening at other places. It's all because of the influence of Navagrahas. Some say. And finally, some say that it is all because of lust. Pumsham kama uta apare. Nothing because of lust. There is nothing other, no other reason. Bhagavad Gita also we see that 17th chapter. No, 16th chapter. Daivasur Sampatti Vibhaga Yoga. So they simply that Kimannat Kama Hetukam. Other than lust, what is the reason for this world to exist? It is all for the fulfillment of one's desires, like that they say. So now what are their philosophies? What they are trying to say like that? This brief explanation is given in the purport. Let karma be the cause of one's happiness and distress, birth and death. True. But philosophers argue about this. So till now Lord was saying that I as time making things into action, but people get their destiny according to their individual karmas. I as time like Chakravarti, I am moving, I am taking all the particles along with me, but some particles drop down immediately because they are heavy and other things because of their individual karmas, etc. Okay, sir, you are saying it is karma which is causing our happiness and distress, our birth and death. But there are other philosophers, they say different other things. What they say? Some, the Lokayatas, the followers of Charvaka Muni, they say that it is the nature of matter itself. The matter has a particular nature. It will act like that only. So you can't expect anything other than that. The diamond shines. The gold does not go through corrosion. Iron goes through corrosion. That is the property of the matter. It will act like that only. We can't expect something else, some other miraculous way. It's like that. Others, the Vyavaharikas, the Lokayatas, followers of the Puranas, they say that it is the time. The Puranas talk about Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. Every Yuga has a particular dharma, particular principles, particular way of expectations. So it's happening. So Kali Yuga people live for 100 years, Dwapara Yuga live for 1000 years, Treta Yuga live for 10,000 years, Satya Yuga live for 100,000 years. That's all. It is by the influence of time they are living and they are getting that kind of happiness, that kind of facilities. So there are no other reason. And others say that, astrologers say that it is the Devatas in the form of planets causing all these things. The Devatas who are situated in the planets are governing what is going to happen in our life. People are always interested in what is going to happen to them, how things are happening in this year, etc. And others, Vastayana, says that it is the lust, the cause of all. Vastayana is the acharya of that. Shruti says, Kamo akarshit, kama karoti, kama karta, kama karaita. Lust has done it. Lust is doing it. Kamo akarshit. Lust has done it. Kama karoti. Lust is doing it. Kama karta. Lust is the doer. Kama karaita. Lust causes us to perform activities in a particular way. So like that, Vasayana tells in his book, it is the cause. The ultimate cause is lust only. Vastayana. He is one of the Acharya who wrote books on Kama Sutra, etc. So it's not like gross lust. Here Kama means any desire. It is only a person when he has a desire, he will perform activity. The desire makes a person perform activity. A person who has a desire to eat some special cuisine, he will go all the way up to the restaurant and he will pay a lot of money and eats that. Without desire, no one will go unnecessarily there and pay the money. It is the desire which makes a person to perform something. It is a desire which makes a person to think that he is a doer. So like that, all these things are because of the desire. Who among these disputants established the truth? So, my dear father, my dear sir, who is perfect among all these? Like that, our Dhruva Maharaj is asking Sväyambhuva. So, Sväyambhuva Manu continues. Avyaktasya prameyasya nana shakti udayasya cha navai chikirchitam tata ko vedanta swasambhavam.
The absolute truth, transcendence, is never subject to the understanding of imperfect sensory endeavor, nor is he subject to direct experience. He is the master of varieties of energies, like the full material energy, and no one can understand his plans or actions. Therefore, it should be concluded that although he is the original cause of all causes, no one can know him by mental speculation.
So, Sväyambhuva Manu said that different philosophers might say different things. Some say karma, some say time, some say navagrahas, some say kama. No problem. But none of these so-called philosophers will ever be able to understand the Supreme Lord, because the Supreme Lord is beyond our mental conclusions. He is avyakta, he is aprameyasya. We cannot understand why he is doing what he is doing. Those things we can understand because he is the ultimate cause of everything. We can never ever understand the way he performs. So, in that way. Oh child, no one knows the plan of the Lord, Navai Chikirchitam Veda, who is invisible, who is avyakta, and who is unfathomable, who is aprameyasya, from whom numerous energies arise, Nana Shakti Udayasya cha, Paras Shaktir Vivdeva Suyate. The Supreme Lord has unlimited energies, and from whom you are born and I am born. It is the Lord who possesses unlimited Shaktis, is the cause of your birth and my birth, and he has unlimited energies, and he is invisible and is unfathomable. No intelligent person can understand him and his ways and means of performing different activities. These are all beyond our perception. So don't worry. You want to know which is the correct philosophy? Forget about which philosophy is correct. The Supreme Lord is the correct one, but we cannot know him. He is beyond our ascertaining power. In that way. No one, since they are all ignorant of the root cause of everything. These philosophers who are telling karma is the cause, time is the cause, grahas are the cause, kama is the cause. They don't know the root cause of the time, karma, kala, and kama. The root cause of all these things are somebody else is there that they don't know. The Lord cannot be revealed by childish intelligence. He cannot be understood for the people with childish intelligence. The cause of this is that he cannot be measured by material proofs like the sense perception. He is beyond our sense perception. That's why with material logic and reasoning, we can never ever understand the Supreme Lord. Various Shaktis such as time, karma, and nature of things, Svabhava, arise from him. Though all these people are telling that, some people are telling time is the cause, karma is the cause, Svabhava is the cause, the gunas are the cause, grahas are the cause, kama is the cause, they all arise from the Supreme Lord only. Taking shelter of one of these Shaktis, they argue. So unlimited Shakti is coming from him, so they take one Shakti and they say this is the ultimate one, this is the ultimate one. They may argue with the other philosophers. But there can be no arguments about the cause of these Shaktis. No one knows the plans of the Lord, from whom we arise. Even Bhishma tells in the Bhagavatam first canto. Nahi asya karchit rajan puman veda vidistam yad vijijnasaya yukta muyanti kavayopihi. O King Yudhishthir, no one can know the plan of the Lord, even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively. They are bewildered in order to understand the plan of the Supreme Lord. Who can understand the Supreme Lord? No one can understand. 1, 9, 16. So it's like that. So then Shruti says, the Vedic literature say that, who knows him? Then who knows him? Who speaks about him? From whom was he born? From what was he produced? He precedes the Devatas. Who knows from where he appeared for creating the universe? Everyone in this material world are all created by him. How can they know about him who created them? So one may say the Devatas are Amar, they are living for a long time. They might know the Supreme Lord. Even those long living Devatas are also created by the Supreme Lord. How can they know the Supreme Lord? So no one can know the Supreme Lord with one's material logic and reasoning and material abilities. He is beyond our sensory perception. So like that, Sväyambhuva Manu establishing the ultimate absolute position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, indicating that he is the ultimate doer. So don't take things personally. Don't go rashly and act violently. Ultimate cause of everything that is happening is all Supreme Lord. That Supreme Lord also told you that your brother will go for hunting and one Yaksha will come and kill you. You already knew this. Then what is the reason for you to fight with the Yakshas unnecessarily? It is already ordained by the Supreme Lord. It is supposed to happen, it has happened. So accept it, na. So like that, he is trying to discuss the philosophy. So Hare Krishna, devotees online able to follow?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Na chaite putra ka bratur khantaro danadanuga visarga danayostata pumsho daivam mikaranam.
My dear son, those yakshas who are descendants of Kuvera are not actually the killers of your brother. The birth and death of every living entity are caused by the Supreme, who is certainly the cause of all causes.
Yeah, it is like now he is coming to the conclusion. Oh son, these followers of Kuvera are not the killers of your brother. The cause of birth and death of the living entities is the Supreme Lord. He is the creator and destroyer of all the living entities, not the Yakshas. Sayeva Vishwam Srujati, Sayeva Vati Hanticha, Atapihi Anankaran, Najate Gunakarmabhi.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead creates this material world, maintains it, and annihilates it in due course of time. But because he is transcendental to such activities, he is never affected by ego in such action or by the modes of material nature.
The Lord creates the universe. Saeva Vishwam Srujati. He maintains the universe and destroys the universe. Saeva Avati. He maintains it. Saeva Hanti. He only destroys it without attachment or ego. Atapi Anankaran. He neither has attachment to the universe nor have not have hated for the universe. We say that we create something because we have attachment. We destroy something we don't like that. That's what in our general understanding. But Lord does creation and maintenance and destruction without any attachment, without any hatred. He is not affected by the actions of the three gunas. We perform activities because we are affected by the gunas. We want something. So we do create. We don't want something, we destroy it. Because we are affected by the gunas. But Lord is not affected by the gunas. His activities are not out of attachment or out of ego. His activities are simply to facilitate our desire to exhibit our free will. Thus, he is not to be blamed. Then Dhruva might say, if the Lord is the cause of my brother's death, then I blame the Lord. The Lord cannot be blamed. Lord is not causing the death of somebody out of hatred or out of liking. It is simply happening. It is supposed to happen, it is happening, that's all. So he cannot be blamed for that. So like that, he mentioned the Lord is ultimate cause. At the same time, Lord cannot be blamed. Because Lord is not doing anything, either with attachment, Icha, Dvesha, Samutena, Dundamo, and Vart. In the material world, we do all the activities based on with Icha or Dvesha. But Lord is beyond that. All his activities are nothing to do with the Icha or Dvesha. That's why he is not blamed. When we perform activities with Icha and Dvesha, we are supposed to be blamed. We are supposed to take responsibility and we are blamed by others. So that is the distinction between our activities and the Lord's activities. एष भूतानि भूतात्मा भूतेषु भूत भावना सशक्त्या मायया युक्ता सृजति अत्ति च पाति च.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul of all living entities. He is the controller and maintainer of everyone. Through the agency of his external energy, he creates, maintains, and annihilates everyone.
He creates and maintains and he destroys without hatred and attachment. How does he do that? He is the soul of all beings, Bhutatma, Bhutatma, Bhutani, Bhutatma. He is the controller of all beings, he is Bhutesha. He is the maintainer of all beings, Bhuta Bhavana. Using his energy of Maya, Swashaktiya, creates, maintains, and destroys. Srujati, Avati, Pati. It is by the help of his Maya Shakti, he creates, maintains, and destroys. Because he is the soul of all living entities, he is the controller of all living entities, and he is the maintainer of all living entities, whether they are in the material world or in the spiritual world. Because he is Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Whether they are in the material world or in the spiritual world, all the living entities are he is Amshas only. And he is their master, he is their maintainer. This cannot be avoided. So in that way. This verse explains why the Lord is without attachment or material identity. Even without attachment and without hatred, why does he do? Because all the jivas are his own amshas only. उनके लिए तो उनका maintenance तो Lord का responsibility. So he has to do it. If they are in the spiritual world, Lord maintains them. If they come to the material world, Lord also comes here and maintains them. Because he is their master, he is their Lord, he is their maintainer. So he only has to maintain in that way. He uses his energy of Maya. Since the external energy causes creation and destruction, not his Swarup Shakti, he does not undergo material quality of identity of Ahankara in performing the activities. Because the creation, maintenance, and annihilation are taken place by Maya, not by his Yoga Maya, by Mahamaya only, not by Antargata Shakti. So Lord has nothing to do with, Lord will never say that I am the doer of all these things. Though he is doing everything with the help of his material energy, but he never says that I am the doer. So that is Lord's specialty. So since he never said that I am the doer, he cannot be blamed. Things are happening by Maya. And Maya is Lord's energy. And he never claimed that he is the doer. So we can never blame him. And he is not responsible for what's happening here. Same way, this is what Lord Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spruha. Itiyo mam abhijanati karmabir nasa padyate. Namam karmani limpanti. No karma will bind me. Because name karma phala spruha. When I perform activities, I never anticipate to get the results. In the sense, I never anticipate to enjoy the results. I perform the duties as a matter of duty. Not thinking that I am the doer. I only perform the duties because the duties need to be performed. Ityo mam yo bijanati. He who knows this about me, karma bir nasabadate. That person will never be bound by karma. Because one who knows this means the person who knows about it will act on that. So one who acts like Lord Krishna will also not get bound by karma. So one should do all the activities, but one should never say that I am the doer. Then one is not entitled to be bound by the results. So one is liberated even while living here. So that is the principle. Same way, Lord's energies are doing all the things, but Lord is never saying I am doing. So he is not supposed to be blamed. He is not responsible for what's happening in that. So like that.
Lord's energies,
Little louder.
are Lord's energies also bound by karma and swabhava?
No,
The Jiva Shakti.
no. Energies are not bound by karma and svabhava. Energies are just simply performing their seva. They are doing their service. The energies are also performing their services, not identifying themselves as the doer. They are doing because it is a duty. For example, Maya Devi. Maya Devi through her three modes binding all of us. So in one sense, that is a big activity. So does Maya Devi herself is bound by that activity? While doing that activity, she is doing only her duty. She is not identifying herself as the doer. Then she is not bound. If she identifies herself as the doer, I am the doer. It is all mine. I am the doer. Then she is bound. So it's like any energy, the concept is same. As well as there are only two misconceptions we have. We misidentify ourselves with the body and we misconstrue ourselves as the doer. When we don't do these two things, we are not bound in this material world. No misidentification, no misdoership. That's all. These two are the two factors which are binding all of us in the material world. When you get away with these two, we are liberated here only. We are Jivan Mukta. This comes in teachings of Lord Kapila. Tameva mrutyum amrutam tata daivam sarvatmanopehi jagat parayanam yasmai balim vishwasrujo haranti gavo yata vai nasidamayantrita.
My dear boy Dhruva, please surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate goal of the progress of the world. Everyone, including the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, is working under his control, just as a bull, prompted by a rope in its nose, is controlled by its owner.
The question is that, but how everything is under the Supreme Lord's control? Just like the bull is controlled by the rope, like that, everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. O son, surrender to the Supreme Lord, who is the birth and death of all of us, who is the refuge of the entire world, because he is our maintainer. With your whole being, how to surrender to unto him? Completely, sarvatmana, manasa, vacha, karmana, surrender unto him, because he is our maintainer, jagat parayanam. He is our birth, he is our death, and he is the Supreme Lord. Unto him, the devatas offer homage like bulls controlled by the rope ties to their noses. The devatas are performing all their services as offering to Supreme Lord. So may you also surrender to that Supreme Lord. That will do good to you. Not fighting for no reason. So like that, Sväyambhuva is saying. Though I have been enlightened by you, Dhruva is saying that. Though I have been enlightened by you, I cannot give up my ego that I am a Kshatriya. I need to fight for the justice. For this, Sväyambhuva Manu is going to answer in 4 verses. This is the first verse. In first verse, he is saying that surrender unto Supreme Lord. Without surrender, it is very difficult to give up ego just by having some knowledge that I am a Kshatriya, I have the Kshatriya duty, so I need to act on this platform. That kind of jnana will not deliver you. Only surrender to Supreme Lord completely will deliver you. This is the first point. Second point he will say in the next verse. Ya panchavarsho jananim tamivahaya matu sapatnya vachasa binna marma vanam gatas tapasa pratyagakshnam aradhya lebe murdni padam trilokya.
My dear Dhruva, at the age of only 5 years, you were very grievously afflicted by the words of your mother's co-wife, and you very boldly gave up the protection of your mother and went to the forest to engage in the yogic process for realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As a result of this, you have already achieved the topmost position in all the 3 worlds.
What kind of sarvatmana you should do? You have done it. It is not something new for you. As 5-year-olds by only you did it. So nothing new I am telling. Giving up your mother when you were 5 years old, wounded by the words of your stepmother, you went to the forest. There, worshipping the Supreme Lord by performing severe austerities, you achieved the topmost position in the three worlds. Padam Tribhuvanotkrishtam Jigisho Sadhu Vartmame. You attend Droloka only, directly from the Lord. Therefore, surrender to the Lord. You become the lotus of our dynasty. Surrendering to the Lord, you will become the lotus of our dynasty. Therefore, now surrender, give up the war and surrender to him. Pratyak Drishyam means the Lord who is the object of the yogi's eyes. The yogis always want to contemplate upon him. So just like you surrendered the 5 years old right now, also surrender like that. By surrendering, you will become the lotus of our dynasty. Tamena mangatmani mukta vigrahe vyapashritam nirgunamekam aksharam atmanamanvichya vimuktam atmadruk yasmin idam vedamasat pratiyate. Please read quickly. Few more verses we have.
My dear Dhruva, please therefore turn your attention to the Supreme Person, who is the infallible Brahman, face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position, and thus, by self-realization, you will find this material differentiation to be merely flickering.
Yeah, here he is saying that seek out in your mind divide of hostility, the one indestructible Ekam Aksharam, eternally liberated beyond the gunas, who resides within you out of affection, on seeing whom the world filled with dualities will appear disgusting. Just like at the age of 5, you performed severe austerities. Within 6 months, you saw the Supreme Lord within the core of your heart. Then you saw in front of you. That time, what happened to you? You went to him with the desire to get a position superior to 3 worlds. But after seeing him, you said, Swamin Krutartosmi Varamna Yachi. You said, no, I don't want any more blessings. Same way, now also meditate on the same Supreme Lord within the core of your heart. Then, this anger, enmity does not make any sense. All these things will appear like a pretty useless small things. Like that, he's telling. In that way only, just by meditating on the Lord only, you can give up your ego that you are a Kshatriya, you need to work for you need to fight for justice. That can be given up. At this time, we should seek him. Give up your thoughts of material good and bad. You might be thinking killing the excess is good, otherwise it is bad. Your endeavor is not like that of other people. You are not like ordinary people who are only in the good and bad. You are already a pure devotee. Childhood only you displayed that pure devotional service. So why are you going again? Why are you following the path of normal people? Follow the path of Bhakti. Because in small childhood only, though you had a material desire, but after perfecting, you gave the desire. Same way, why are you after this material good and bad? Take shelter of the Lord. In a mind free of contradictions, seek out the Lord who resides in your mind out of affection. Seeing the Lord, the differences of enemy and friend will appear unbeneficial and unattractive. They all appear asat, meaningless, useless. So therefore, meditate on the Supreme Lord. That will purify you. That is the third reason. Now the fourth reason is Tam pratyagatmani tada bhagavatanta Anandamatra upapanna samasta shaktau Bhaktim vidaya paramam shanakairva vidya Grantim vivestyastai mamaham iti prarudam.
Thus
regaining your natural position and rendering service unto the Supreme Lord, who is the all-powerful reservoir of all pleasure and who lives in all living entities as the super soul, you will very soon forget the illusory understanding of I and my.
Yeah, the fourth reason is when you are 5 years old, okay, by performing pure devotion unto the Supreme Lord, Bhagavati, Paramam Bhaktim Vidaya, by practicing Parama Bhakti Vidhis, unto Supreme Lord, who is the soul of soul within, unlimited, full of bliss, and endowed with all energies, you gradually cut the strong knot of ignorance concerning I and mine. Just the way you practice sadhana during your fifth year, when you are 5 years old, you cut all the material desires with the darshan of the Supreme Lord. Same way, now you can cut the concept of I and mine by meditating on Him. This is the only way to do it. Do you not remember how you attained the Lord when you are 5 years old? The future tense is used to express memory of the past. Just the way you remember the Lord that time you performed severe austerities and by which you are completely purified, same way you remember the Lord now, you will become purified of all this unwanted thought process of I and mind, good and bad, etc. etc. So thus in these 4 verses giving 4 reasons, Sväyambhuva Manu instructed that please stop, enough is enough. Just practice bhakti, that it will do good for you and good for everyone. So in that way. So now last 4 verses, Sväyambhuva Manu kind of wrapping up. I'll quickly go through. Samyacharosham badram te pratitam shreyasam para shrutena bhuyasa rajan agadena yatatmam. O king, as sickness is controlled by medicine, by constantly hearing instructions, control anger, which is the great enemy of proper conduct. All good fortune unto you, Badramte. Just like a disease is controlled by continuously taking medicine, same way, the disease of misidentification and anger can be controlled by continuously hearing and following good instructions. That's why I gave instructions in different ways. Hear these instructions to the core of your heart and follow them so that you can be benefited. Like that is saying. This is simply imitating common behavior. What you are doing is simply common behavior. You show anger externally to announce to people your affection for your brother. You have become angry because you have a lot of affection for your brother. You want to show the entire world that you love your brothers of the most. But kindly understand what is the use of showing of that affection to your brother. Because it says that for a devotee such as you, announcing your good qualities to the world is also a disease. It is good. Devotee should have affection, but you don't have to show that affection to this great extent. Showing it too much is like a disease. Showing it is like good quality, but showing too much is like a disease. Therefore, give up this disease of anger by my good instructions, just as one gives up disease by taking medicine. My instructions are like medicine. Your anger is like the disease. So in that way, your affection was good, but now that affection took the shape of a disease. Now you have to cure. You cannot be continuing with that transformed affection. So in that way. Keno pasrishtat purushal loka buddhija brusham loka buddhijate brusham nabaddastadvasham gachet itchan abhayam atmana. Everyone becomes terrified of the person overcome by anger. When a person becomes too much angry, the surrounding people become terrified or worried. Desiring freedom from death, the intelligent person should control the anger. Abhayam ichen Buddha natad vasham gachet. Those intelligent people who want to attain the abode of the Supreme Lord should give up the disease like anger. This anger binds one in this material world. Thus, proper conduct is explained. Everyone fears the person filled with anger. The best way to act is control the anger. Helanam girisha bratrur dhandasya tvaya kritam yad jagnivan punyajanan bratruganan iti amarshita. Actually, what you are doing is a great offense against Lord Shiva. Why? Because you have in anger killed many yakshas who are the killer of your brother. By killing the yakshas, you offended Kuvera, the master of the yakshas. And by offending Kuvera, you have also offended Lord Shiva, because Kuvera is the younger brother of Lord Shiva. Girisha Bratru. Lord Shiva considers Kuvera as his younger brother, because they stay nearby only. Kailash and Alakapuri are next to each other, neighbors. So he treats him as younger brother. So you are offending Lord Shiva also. It is not at all good for you. So in that way, you have done what is not proper for a Vaishnava. Please listen. The killing of yakshas is the offense, because it is an offense towards Kuvera and also towards Lord Shiva. So for a Vaishnava, it is not good. Tam prasadaya vasasu sannatya prashrayokti na yavan mahatam teja kulam no bi bhavishyati. He said that, my son, please satisfy Kuvera immediately by offering respects, humble behavior, and kind words, so that the anger of the great persons will not defeat our family. You have already killed so many yakshas. You may create anger to Kuvera. That will not be good for you and our family. So please stop the fight and go to Kuvera, beg forgiveness, and please him with good words. The same thing happened with Bhima also. When Bhima went to Upper Himalayas to collect the golden lotus flowers, the flowers were in the lake. He was taking up. Yakshas came who were god in that lake. They said, Bhima, no, don't take. He said, I am a Kshatriya. How can you stop me? So there was a fight between them. So Bhima killed so many yakshas. In the meantime, Yudhishthira Maharaj came and stopped Bhima. Immediately fell flat at the feet of Kuvera and begged forgiveness on behalf of Bhima. He said, please forgive the rash activity of my younger brother. So please forgive us. So he has done unknowingly that they are your servants. So like that. So then Kuvera kind of pacified and he says, no, they are cursed to die in the hands of Bhima. It's okay. Then Kuvera invites all the Pandavas to his home. They stay in Kuvera's home for some time. Then they move on. It's like that.
This pastime and that Yaksha Prashnotter pastime.
Yeah, that is different. So last verse. Evam Sväyambhuva pautram anushasya manurdruvam tena bivandita shakam rishabhi swaputram yayo. Thus, after instructing his great grandson Dhruva, Sväyambhuva Manu, worshipped by Dhruva, departed to his abode with the great sages. The sages also came along with him. So along with them, the Sväyambhuva Manu returned to his own abode, wherever he was supposed to take. So like this, in this chapter, Sväyambhuva Manu gave good instructions and reminded Dhruva to perform bhakti once again, so that he can transcend the material good and bad, I and mine, etc., anger, etc., etc. So this is from this chapter. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining today. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.